Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be showing you guys an Advanced Forwards by Web replay. So today I have for you one of my Global League matches that I played recently. This map, I totally forgot what it's called. Let me just bring it up really quick for myself here. That's not showing me. Hang on a second. Let me go back. So if we exit here, it is called Azure Blue. That's right. Okay, so Azure Blue. So this map features a lot of naval combat as well as ground and air. So very unique map for the Global League to have. Naval units are not usually utilized a lot, so this one's a lot of fun to play. A little stress-inducing because I was a bit worried about facing Sensei, who is in a normal tier, not high funds. He is a very strong opponent. He is a 0 tier, or the best, one of the best coast. But in high funds, he's actually not as great as you might think because of his weakened units. So let me go ahead and bring up the code charts for you guys. So, of course, I'm playing as Punchi. That's my Advanced Forwards by Web username. I'm going to be using Andy. He's my favorite co in the game, and he's really good. At least in my opinion, he's really good in high funds. Probably one of the best ones. As you guys can see, I get no day-to-day abilities. That means my units are just standard units. But I do have two pretty useful co-powers. The first one's Hyper Repair, repairing 2 HP on all my units. It's not too great, but 2 HP on all my units can be useful in some cases. But what I really want is for 6 stars, I can get my Hyper Upgrade, which will recover 5 HP to all my units, which is a lot, and increase their attack by 10%, and get +1 movement as well. So, Andy, very balanced CO. He doesn't get anything but benefits, really. But that Hyper Upgrade is really good. On the other side, I have my opponent herogen, I'm going to call him herogen. He's using Sensei, and as you guys can see just by the description difference here, he has a big advantage. His copters gain 50% extra attack, and copters are going to be useful on this map for sure. His foot soldiers gain an extra 40% attack, which is ridiculous. I mean, infantry are going to be all over the place in this mixed-based format. It's going to be insane how hard it is how hard his infantry hit mine. But the bad part about Sensei, which is why he's this low in high funds, is all his other non-air units will lose 10% attack. And so his tanks, his naval units, everything will lose 10% attack, which can hurt. But his transports also gain 1 movement, which doesn't really help too much here, I don't think. It's not like there's any rush to get certain properties, so transports are whatever as far as extra movement. His powers are overpowered though. This is where he's going to shine. He gets Copter Command with only 2 stars, increasing his Copter's attack to 65%, so an extra 15%. And he deploys 9 HP infantry on every city he owns, as long as they're open, which is a lot. I mean, the unit cap on this map I think is 75, so he gets really close to capping, like, once the map gets going. And there's no way you can stop it. I mean, he's really just going to deploy infantry like every other turn. But his superpower Airborne Assault is pretty much the same. Increases the copters by 50% attack, but instead of infantry, they deploy mechs. Now, mechs are stronger than infantry. They're worth more too. However, they only move 2 spaces compared to infantry's 3, so they're not as good in that regard. But they can deter my tanks and other vehicles, so they are a force to be reckoned with. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move the charts away. So those are the 2 codes we're using. Again, I'm going to be Punchy. I'm going to be playing as Red Fire, and Herogen's going to be playing as Teal Galaxy. I forget what it's called. The Teal Teal CO. So yeah. Those are the commanding officers we're going to be playing with. I'm going to be second player, he will be first player, so I will be starting with an extra infantry here, over here, and then I have this one of course, and he starts with just the 1. Alright, so we're just gonna hop in right into the match. I mean, I'm gonna change the music here and rather listen to something more interesting. Alright, so to start the match, obviously he's first player. He's gonna start by capturing this base. It's mine because I needed extra money to start because he's first player. It's just a second turn advantage kind of thing, or first turn advantage, whatever it's called. It's just to help balance the game a bit. But please take note that I am second player and he is first player, in case some of you guys want to know, think that the first turn advantage plays a part. So obviously the first few days it's just going to be capturing. We're just going to build infantry. We're going to go over and capture properties as quickly as possible. You always want to go for the neutral bases here. He goes for this base and I go for this one right here, because the faster you get those bases, the sooner you can deploy infantry or other units out of them. And on a big map like this, you definitely want to build units as fast as possible to get territorial advantage. So now he goes ahead and opens up with an APC here. Not a bad idea, especially with how big the map is. It is probably a good idea to try and get infantry around the map as quickly as possible. I do not, however. I build 2 infantry and 1 infantry right here instead. So day 4 rolls in, loads the infantry. He wants to get that airport, it looks like, as soon as possible, so he transports his infantry all the way up there. Continues to capture properties. Nothing new there, only infantry built. On the other hand, I'm going also for the airport. However, I'm not using a transport like he did. I'm going straight for the airport directly instead of capturing the city. And I'm using this new infantry to come over here and capture this city. So a little bit of different playing style, but we'll see whose strategy is better. And I build an APC now on my turn over here. This one is, I don't think I'm going to be sending it this way. I'm going to be sending it straight to the north, because I want to try and get this comm tower or these cities to prevent him from getting that extra boost. By the way, in case you guys don't know, comm towers offer a 10% attack boost. There are 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this map. So this is one reason why Sensei is pretty good on this map. As long as you capture 1, all your units become neutral, in other words, you don't lose your 10% attack, or they become better. Whereas like me, all my units start neutral, so it only benefits me more. But you definitely want to have no firepower loss and more. So if Sensei even gets 1 comm tower, his units are going to be really back to regular firepower, and it's going to be really hard to deal with. So I go ahead and open up with a tank over here. I feel like in order to get over here with any other vehicles, he has to go around this way, the pipe, or destroy the pipe, or deploy a lander and then transport him over here. So what I do is I build a tank, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to send it up this way to harass infantry that try to capture over here. And especially since he doesn't have the airport for battlecopters yet. So again, just going to continue building infantry. And then he goes and does something I did not see coming. Something just totally out of the blue. He builds a battleship. Battleships have incredible range, 6 range. And it just zones me out completely. Like, this is huge. I did not see that coming. I could not do that on my turn unless I base skip, which I definitely don't want to do. So him being able to do this and still build his infantry elsewhere is a really interesting move. It took me way off guard, and it's actually going to play a big part in this game. And then of course he continues to capture properties, moves his APC down here, and he's probably going to boost that infantry over. He does. And then yeah, so now it is going to be my turn. So I finished capturing the port. Regardless of this battleship, I send my tank up north anyways, because I need to stick to my original plan. I'm not going to let that deter me. So I go for the airport and the city on the same turn. So even though he used the APC to transport this infantry, we both are going to be capturing these properties in the similar time. And I just move my infantry this way. I move my APC here so I could build this infantry this turn, and then I could transport them all the way up on the next turn. Then I continue to, I build a lander here, and I boost the infantry over the river, so that just helps me get a little extra movement. I also build a tank on that left base and an anti-air, as he's going to be capturing this airport soon, so I want to make sure I have, something to deal with those battlecopters or bombers. Alright, his turn rolls in. Of course, he's going to be capturing both his ports here. That's kind of important to note for later. his battleship moves down. He is forcing me away from my port. If we can keep this on there. So now I cannot capture that port unless I want to risk getting hit by that battleship. So this is a big problem. In high funds, properties count as double income, so 2,000 instead of the regular 1,000. So his battleship being here is going to prevent me from getting that port, and that's not only just 2,000 income, but that's another place for me to have C units built, as well as keep him from going to the middle on this side. So this battleship is going to be very annoying. He continues to capture properties, moves his infantry down here, does not go for the comm tower in the corner, but instead, I actually don't know why he put his infantry here. It's not in range of any properties to be captured. So it's a very interesting move. Boosts his other infantry, which he didn't really have to do. And just builds infantry. He finally builds his first tank over here. He's going to probably send it down this way to counter my units coming this way. And now it's my turn. Alright, so first, of course, capture properties. I send my tank out of range of his battleship and over here so I can start harassing infantry that come this way. Start capturing a couple more properties. And I'm going to concentrate. My philosophy is that I have the advantage as far as firepower goes. I want to make sure I keep Sensei from getting the comm towers. This one, and this one. This one is pretty much going to be mine because it's closest to my bases. So I'm not afraid of me not getting this one. But as long as I can keep him from getting any of his, he won't get that extra firepower boost to make his units back to neutral firepower. So that's my goal going forward. I pick up this infantry and we're going to transport it over here so we can capture more properties. Load up the infantry in the lander. And we're going to... So I do go for the port, and this is what I'm doing now is giving him a choice. I can let him attack my infantry capturing the port. He'll only do 5 damage, so unless he kills it next turn after, I will get that port regardless, or he can attack my anti-air. Now why did I put my anti-air in range? 1, he doesn't have a battlecopter yet, so I can just build another one and it'll be okay. I can just replace it. 2, even if he damages my anti-air, it'll only do 5 damage, I think I calculated, and with my hyper upgrade, I can just repair that up to full. I just need to keep my anti-air safe. And then third thing, for the hyper upgrade, you need power charge. And by him damaging my anti-air or infantry, you know, I can get power charge just like that, without having to worry about him killing my units. So, to me, this was like a risk and reward kind of thing. He has to choose which unit he wants to shoot at, and I don't remember which one he attacks. I'm pretty sure it's the anti-air, but we'll see. I go ahead and build a sub because in order to combat a battleship, you kind of need a submarine. You could build a battleship of your own, but then you risk the chance that, well, you can't really get into his range. You can't get into range to attack him unless you go into his, so I thought the sub was the more beneficial build. I build more infantry across all my bases. I transport this lander over here and drop off the infantry because I need to combat his infantry here before they capture these properties. The more cities that Sensei owns, the more infantry he'll be able to produce with his co-power. He finishes capturing the port here. Can I use my keyboard? Yeah, I can actually. So, he obviously captures, moves his infantry around. His tank comes straight down over here. So again, I knew this tank was going to be coming. It's going to try and deter my tank and my infantry away. He built a cruiser, an appropriate response for my submarine. As long as I'm a dive sub, only submarines or cruisers can attack it, so this is a good response. Going to be dangerous for me though, that's for sure. Continues to capture properties. He's not sending any vehicles this way, so my infantry, you know, that are going to be capturing properties sooner than he is, kind of have an advantage. He builds his battlecopter over here, as well as a tank. So he's going a little bit harder on, or not a little bit, he's going very hard on the left side. I'm kind of making it a little bit equal with my vehicles also being on the left side. I would say that neither side is a really weak or strong side. But for sure, he has the advantage right now with this battleship coming into play early on in this game. My turn rolls in. We're going to capture some cities, of course. Move my infantry over, you know, just the easy day stuff. So, I move my tank onto the comm tower. 1. if he wanted to go forego this capture, he could have went and got the comm tower, but now that I'm covering it and his tank is out of range, he's forced to not be able to capture. This was my goal. From the very start, I wanted to make sure he could not get this comm tower. So now, it's going to be really hard. One, my tank kind of zones his tank, unless he wants to block with infantry. And so his tank can't really attack mine, especially if it's on a property. I moved my anti-air back, so he actually did 7 damage, which is a lot. But one day on the city, and then wait for my hyper upgrade, and this thing will be back in action. I moved my sub straight into the reef, out of reach of the cruiser, and I dive it immediately, of course, so that way he can't find it. So he doesn't know what I'm going to do. Now, this is where I'm not sure why I did this. Oh, okay. So he can let his battleship get hit by my sub, or he can attack, and he can attack my tank, or he has to move his battleship, and then my tank doesn't get hit. So I kind of let him have a choice. I'll go ahead and capture more properties over here. I want to stay out of attack range of Sensei's infantry, because they do have that 40% extra firepower, which will destroy mine. Move my lander back here. I'm going to use this lander a lot to transport troops back and forth the shores. I built a battlecopter in this corner, and as well as move my APC back, build more infantry. I built my second anti-air. Since this one got hit, I definitely need to defend against the battlecopters that are going to be coming in. Plus, anti-air are good for infantry that he will be sending across this river here, trying to capture his properties. Alright, so day 8 rolls in. He builds a black boat here. This black boat, he wants to probably try and capture these cities in the middle. These lone cities are good for the additional income, but to me, you have to be controlling the match before you can expend resources going for them. If you expend resources, this black boat is 7,500, which could be a tank that on this side, for example, or even on this side that he could be using to combat me. So him building this early and probably going to send it to the middle is not a good idea in my opinion, but we'll see what he does. Continues to capture cities. His tank is out of range of my tank. This doesn't exactly show it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can only move up to here, so I can't hit his tank, plus he has 2 in the area. But again, this tank, it can hit me if it wants to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, I'm on a comm tower right now, which gives 30% extra defense. And because he has minus 10% attack, it's going to be a very painful engagement for him if he wants to attack with both his tanks. So, we'll see what he does next turn, and see what I do as well. Battlecopter moves down, cruiser moves into a position to guard his battleship, so even if I wanted to attack his battleship, I cannot, because of the reef here. So he decided to forego the attack on my tank and guard his battleship. To me, this was good, because I wanted my tank to stay nice and healthy. He has no healthy infantry in this area right now, so that means all these properties are not going to be captured anytime soon. My infantry are already going towards these properties, so that means I have the advantage of stopping him here while capturing my own. His infantry goes back to repair. He starts to move in and starts to capture these properties. He's moving forward with infantry. Builds another battlecopter over here. Builds an artillery, another tank, and an infantry over here. So again, he's going really heavy. No combat units other than infantry on the right side. So he needs to be careful, because even though I have weaker infantry, I can still, push hard with numbers. So move my tank out of range of the battleship, and again, I want to keep this tank here nice and healthy to harass infantry. This infantry also is out of range of his battleship down here. So I move my second tank into a better position on my city. One support, my other tank and infantry down here. I'm foregoing this capture because this infantry can easily get next turn. I want this one to go all the way over here and start capturing these cities as quickly as possible. I'm starting to capture this comm tower, so he has the choice of either going for his own capture or interrupting my comm tower. I'm curious to know what he'll do. If he attacks my comm tower, I'll go ahead and switch and use this infantry to kill his. So it's a little risk and reward kind of thing. I forego this capture and I go for straight for the comm tower. Getting that extra 10% attack is going to benefit me a lot, so I think this is the better play. Plus I want to get this property regardless. There's nothing here to interrupt it. So put the infantry on the mound. Sensei infantry are strong, but with 40% extra defense, it kind of neutralizes the fact that he has extra attack power. I send this lander with, I think it has 2 infantry, I cannot actually tell, but I think it has 2 infantry, and I'm going to bring it over to this shore to help against his oncoming infantry army. He might have more attack power, but numbers you will usually win out anyways. So I start to go for this city, and again, this tank out of position. This tank can either interrupt my city capture or attack my tank, but because I'm on a silo platform with 30% extra defense, and again, he has minus 10% attack, it's going to be painful for him. Move my entire street up this way, so I can defend against Valcopters on this side. I built a battleship. Why? In order to kill a cruiser, I need a battleship. So I built this guy, and he's already zoning the cruiser out now. He doesn't know where my sub will be next turn. So we'll see what he does. Move this anti-air down this way. By the time this Valcopter gets into the action, my anti-air will already be here to defend. Even a 5 anti-air with like 1 or 2 comm towers can practically destroy a copter. So, and again, I don't need to worry about this is only at 5 HP. I will repair it eventually with my hyper upgrade. So he doesn't know where my submarine is, and so I decide this black boat is going to die. So he cannot get multiple cities. So I'm going to send this sub over here to the right. And this is the biggest thing I did. I wanted to make sure he didn't know where my sub is, so I can attack at any time, or in this case, I'm not even there, and he doesn't know it. I built a tank here, a couple infantry here, and then I end my turn. So we'll see what he does on his. Obviously capturing cities here. He goes for this capture. I definitely need to stop this if I can, because again, more cities he has for his power, the better for him. Moves his artillery in position to start destroying the pipeline, I believe. He moves his Valcopter into the ocean. Again, it's in a position to guard his battleship in the corner here. But again, this battleship, while it did get a hit on my anti-air and it is zoning me out a little bit, it hasn't really done too much, considering it was an early buy. This battleship could have been like 4 tanks, for example. So, while it was a good buy, it has not done too much yet. So he continues to capture infantry properties over here. Moves over to capture the comm tower. This is the one thing I don't want him to do. He goes and engages my infantry capturing the city, and he does move the tank in for the engagement. And as you guys can see, with my extra defense and his lack of firepower, it's a 7-7 engagement. And in my opinion, that's a winning engagement for me. Moves his other tank down. He has another tank incoming as well. But as long as I keep up my tanks, it's going to be like a big tank brawl, and we're going to be even. The distance between our bases are almost the same. I'm a little bit closer, which is why I have the property advantage, but it's just still going to be a brawl. His other Valcopter is moving in as well. He's going to start sending these infantry across the river this way to capture these properties, seeing that he can't get them over here. He does go for the interrupt on my comm tower. Very smart of him. I would do the same thing. However, he attacked me from this spot. I definitely would have attacked from the shore, because in order for me to attack him, I have to cancel this comm tower. But instead, he lets me... I'm going to be able to engage this infantry from the road here, and that's out of position here from his other infantry. So that was a little bit of a mistake on his part. He finally builds a tank to counter my infantry here, since I have no vehicles yet. And then he goes and attacks me here. A normal engagement, even though I'm on a mountain, so that's fine by me. I need to make sure his infantry don't capture any properties, and the more infantry that are damaged, as long as they're not 10s, he won't be able to capture properties that easily. Moves the black boat over here, so now he is definitely in position to go onto one of the 2 shores over here. I'm trying to point my finger and then I have the mouse on the screen. So he can capture one of these 2 cities on the next turn. What did he just do? Oh, his APC moved. This is kind of a useless move in my opinion. I think he's just trying to find my submarine, that's all. Of course his infantry are moving in. Builds another Valcopter here. Builds a submarine of his own. This one is going to try and both find my submarine and counter my battleship. Because again, to counter a battleship, submarines are a good way to go. Then he goes and puts his cruiser next to my battleship. Now, I can't hit his cruiser this turn, and his Valcopter is nearby. So this could be a very big problem for me. But luckily there is another port here, so I can move around. So that's the good part. Let's see, what did he just do? I don't know what he just did. Either way, it's my turn now. He builds one last infantry there. Okay, so my turn rolls in. Battlecopter moves in. There's nothing here to stop my battlecopter. No anti-air, nothing. So my battlecopter is just going to start killing a whole bunch of infantry. And I'm going to start capturing these properties. Again, I'm starting to capture all these properties. And he hasn't even begun over here. So this is really good for me. Capture my first comm tower here. Start capturing the city as well. I take my weakened tank and engage the infantry on the comm tower in this bottom left corner. Again, my #1 goal, prevent him from getting this comm tower as long as possible. That way he doesn't get any attack boosts. Then I move my healthy tank and engage his 7. Bam! Knocking it down to 1, and I'm still full health. And then this tank is going to move in too. I'm going to move in and attack these infantry as well. In order to capture this, or stop me from capturing this, he has to either use the one of his 6 infantry, so stop his captures, his 10, or the tank. So we'll see what he does. This tank is nice and healthy to back up both of these guys, especially since this one's out of range from any attacks. And again, I have to build another tank here just to keep it, back them up. Anti-air moves into the middle over here, out of range of the battleship, but able to protect my units from battlecopter fire. Again, infantry, also out of range. I'm going to try and capture properties if I can. Doesn't know where my submarine is, it's still dived, and I already know his black boat's over here, so he's probably thinking my submarine is like right here or something. But lo and behold, it's going to be over here and it's going to one-shot his black boat without him knowing. I take my lander and I drop off infantry here. This blocks both his ports, so now he cannot build any sea units, and he cannot provide any more support going this way without him having to deal with it first. So this was a very big move for me, and it cuts off his 3 infantry here. So I thought this was a very strong play. So again, I'm going to interrupt or destroy his infantry that was attacking me. And look, now this infantry that's coming to back him up can't even attack an infantry this turn. I'm going to get this property and another comm tower. That's going to make 2 comm towers for me, and he will not have 1 yet. Again, send my infantry, my APC down, boost my infantry, and keep moving them to the middle. I finally build a tank. This APC can pick up this infantry next turn, by the way. Build a tank because I saw that he built a tank. And once I capture this comm tower, I don't have to be there anymore. I'm probably going to pull back and play a little bit defensive, wait for his tank to make the first move or get into a position that I can strike him first. Because once I have these properties, he's the one that has to try and take them. So I see an opening here, out of range of the battleship, out of range of the artillery. Keep him from capturing this city, or even just moving forward with my tank. So I'm not attacking this turn, but I was able to get in his way, so that's very good. I move my battleship down as it cannot do anything over here. Out of range of the battlecopter, cruisers can't attack battleships, and it's going to be in range to help support down here in this bottom left corner. I built my own cruiser. His battleship is out of range still. Battleships versus his copters are good against my cruisers, but on a property, on a port, I get 30% extra defense, and I will be able to repair. If he attacks me, it's going to be a lot of power charge too. It's also a good counter for his submarine. I also put my infantry here so he can't block my port. And then I want to try and capture these properties if I can. I built an anti-air because seeing that I have 2 healthy tanks and he has 2 healthy tanks, we're even. So I can just send another anti-air here this way in case his battlecopter comes straight down, or I can just send it through the middle. It depends on what he does with his copters. I built a battlecopter of my own in the bottom right corner. Build more infantry, and then now it's his turn. Anyways, okay. Alright, so Sensei's turn, herogen's turn rolls in, captures the city, starts to go across the river, capture properties. Tank moves in, again, it can go and interrupt my comm tower, but on my next turn I'm going to have successfully captured it, so it's not really going to be that much of a problem. His infantry just move on to the forest for extra defense, but again, they did not really accomplish anything this turn. 10 infantry kills my infantry here, not that big of a deal. Moves an infantry into the black boat to start capturing the city, very smart of him, but however, again, he doesn't know my submarine is here, so his black boat will die next turn. Goes for the capture on my city. He's not going to get that. He does move back to stop my infantry from capturing here. Only does 5 damage. This right here is important to know. Note for later, rather. Moves his battlecopter over here. Forgoes his capture to attack my infantry. Kind of an interesting move. Again, he also attacks here as well. Very interesting. It took him 3 infantry against these guys, and he did not kill any of them. Again, with me being Andy, you want to kill units as much as possible. As long as they're alive, I can repair them up with my powers. So, this is a very interesting move for him, and he didn't accomplish much, in my opinion. Tank comes down, attacks me, very strong hit, but again, he didn't kill it because of his lack of firepower. That minus 10% really hurts. Moves the other tank into a better position. This tank will guard all of his units. I don't know what his APC is doing. I think it's trying to find my submarine, but I really don't know what it's doing. It hasn't done anything. Instead of looking for my submarine, it could be boosting these infantry. He could have easily had 2 more infantry in this area with this APC, but instead, he's just trying to find my sub. So that's a big mistake on his part. His battlecopter moved in and attacked my infantry. To me, big mistake. 1. My anti-air is in range to destroy that copter, and I have 2 ports. I don't really have to. I'm not going to be building 2 C units this turn, so to me, he just sacked this battlecopter. And then 2, he moved his battleship into a position to attack my cruiser, I guess, and it's outrange my battleship. But I'm going to make a very good play next turn. You guys will see what it is. Take a guess while you're watching the rest of this turn. So yeah, his infantry are moving in. Again, not really capturing these properties yet. And there's nothing here to stop me from attacking this infantry. So again, just going to be preventing captures for as long as possible. He sees this, sends a battlecopter over here, but that's why this guy is over here. My anti-air will destroy this copter if he tries to attack me. Submarine moves down and dives, so I cannot see it, I cannot attack it. So, you know. And even if I find it first, there's no way for me to attack it anyways. Because you have to attack from an adjacent tile. Builds another battlecopter, builds another black boat, guards his sub, I guess, with his cruiser. It's also outrange my battleship, by the way. I don't see what the last move was. Oh, right here, he waits his tank. It's funny that he just waited it. Moves around his infantry, builds a tank here. Artillery, because he wants to deter my lander away from his port, which is smart, so that's good. Builds a medium tank. This is a pretty good build. I don't have anything that can deal with the medium tank down here, only support from my battleship, so this is a very strong build. I agree with it. My turn rolls in. Captures city, captures comm tower. Big. I have 20% extra attack power now, while he has minus 10, so I have a huge attack power bonus. Again, nothing over here to deter my anti-air and my tank. So now I can just keep hitting free infantry. There's nothing you can do against me. This copter is not going to attack my anti-air because I'm good against copters. So he needs tanks over here now, like really bad. My tank goes over, harasses infantry. Again, he's not going to be able to capture any of these properties until he deals with these vehicles. Anti-air comes in, kills weakened infantry because it's just in range. Start capturing properties down here. Move my infantry, move this tank into a better position. I decide to actually attack his infantry, and this is the reason, because I want to damage his infantry so he cannot capture my properties. Because I'm for sure going to lose these guys sooner than later, and as long as his infantry are damaged, they can't capture properties easily. But again, I'm not going to risk, everything. So now there's 2 in which these infantry kind of want to attack instead of capturing this next turn. As long as my infantry are alive, I can interrupt captures. So he's being forced to attack, and he's not going to be able to capture anything. My tank, my APC moves in, brings another infantry. So I have a lot of infantry in this area. He can't really do anything about it other than attack with this tank. Which my tank is also in a decent position too. It's just out of range of these 3, but if I get my hyper upgrade, then I can attack his tank too. Battlecopter moves in, Again, he has no anti-air in this area, so I want to send battlecopters. Move my infantry around. Cruiser one-shots the battlecopter, and now out of range. Actually, no, I'm still in range of his cruiser. However, I actually do a good play this turn. Block my port here, and so now, yes, he can attack me here. I'm going to repair up. It's going to give me power charge if he does, though. He also needs this to stop my capture on this property, or he can forfeit it. And again, every turn, you have a city that could have been prevented, like this one. That's an extra 2,000 every turn, which is a lot of money in the long run. So we'll see what he does. He has to make a choice. He can attack my cruiser, or he can attack my infantry. But if he attacks my infantry, well, actually, if he attacks either, he's going to lose a copter. I destroyed the black boat. Big win right here. This infantry is going to be stuck on the city. He might capture, yeah, but it's not really going to do anything for him after this. Anti-air goes in and weakens his infantry. Infantry moves in. 20% extra firepower. Destroys 6 infantry on woods. No problem. Healthy tank. Again, I'm just going to knock down all his infantry so he cannot capture. These 2 infantry are the closest, and they're at least 4 or 5 turns away from capturing these properties. So I'm ignoring the fact that he's got this tank here. Move in my other tank. This one's going to move back and try to recover when my super comes into play. Battleship. I move my battleship here. Okay, you guys can see this, right? Battlecopter not in range. Submarine not in range of my battleship. But his battleship can shoot mine. Why did I do that? So now he has 3 targets. 1 infantry capturing, cruiser, or battleship. What does he choose? What would you guys choose? This is the play I'm talking about. So pay close attention to what happens on his turn. I move my 5 infantry into this lander. Move it over here into the reef. In range of the artillery, so he can shoot me if he wants, but it's going to base lock him. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for. Again, my lander won't die in one shot, and so we would just be able to recover with my superpower. But this lander, I'm going to start capturing these properties as quickly as possible. Battlecopter interrupts the capture. Definitely can't let him capture my cities. And I move my infantry away from his, so now he can't engage me. I build a rocket down here. I'm going to be playing it defensive. This is a good way to deter this medium tank. He can destroy or attack any of these guys, but if he wants to do that, he's going to come into rocket fire, so he has to be careful. I build an anti-air to guard again against his battlecopter over here. Build a battlecopter of my own, build a tank, and an infantry. So day 11 comes into play. Goes for the capture at the top. Starts capturing the middle. Moves his infantry over here. Kind of an interesting decision. However, I know why he's moving his infantry right now. He's trying to move his infantry off of cities so he can use his co-power, I'm pretty sure. Tank comes in, kills my 5 anti-air. A little bit disappointed that I didn't get to use my hyper upgrade to repair it, because that was the first anti-air I built. But it's okay, because it helped me get a good positioning for my other units. He uses copter command. Wait, go back. So he uses copter command, and so this deploys 9 HP infantry on all his open cities. He just got 14 infantry. Over here, 35 to 49. He just got 14 infantry for free. Just like that. For 2 co-stars. That's it. So as you guys can see, he only had 2 infantry, 3 infantry here. Now he has 5. This one doesn't really count, but... And over here, practically doubled his infantry count. Over here, all these infantry are now deployed, so... including these 2 now, he has 2 infantry kind of in range to start capturing. However, they are 9s, so they cannot capture very quickly. So, Copter Command, very strong power. This is one reason why Sensei is one of the strongest COs in the game. But I'm not too worried. His battleship chooses to attack my battleship. And if you guys notice, that gives me almost my entire super. And what does my super do? It recovers my entire army by 5 HP. Him shooting my battleship gave me my co-power, and I'm just going to recover up to full, and I'm going to be able to attack his battleship next turn. So this is why I did this. His battleship could attack mine, or it could attack the cruiser, not kill it, and I'll just be full HP anyways. or he could attack this infantry and only do, again, 5 damage, and he wouldn't be able to stop any of them as long as I got my super. So a very big move. This is a big mistake by him, and you guys will see on the next turn. Tank moves in, attacks my infantry. He should. My tank is currently out of position. Goes ahead, picks off more of my infantry. So now he has, you know, unit advantage over here. Continues to capture over here, even though he's not going to get the city quite yet. Ignores the pipe here. Yeah, it doesn't say how much HP it has, but I think he attacked it twice. I think that says 18. But he forgoes destroying it, and instead wants to move his artillery around. And yeah, he's going to move over, try to capture properties. Infantry tries to take a shot at my tank for a luck roll. Didn't work, so that's good for me. Tank attacks my tank. Bad idea. I have extra firepower. He does have his co-power going, giving him 10% attack and defense, but doesn't really help him too much here. Again, I'm just going to be using my superpower to recover up to full. So, big mistake. Goes for the comm tower capture. Doesn't really matter because it is a 9. It's going to take 3 turns to capture it. He moves his infantry forward, moves his medium tank straight down. His battlecopter also goes straight down. He tries to guard his battlecopter with his sub and cruiser. I don't know his sub is here. I don't know where it is, but I'm ignoring that fact because my cruiser is here to guard, not to attack. So, yeah. Again, he's going to use his black bow. He's going to transport more infantry over here. But again, that's not what he needs. He does not need infantry on this side. He needs vehicles. And my anti-air is not going to die to infantry. This battleship out of position of these captures, so he needs a vehicle really, really quick to stop my anti-air and tank. Builds another battlecopter. Should have built another tank. I don't know. He builds another battlecopter. He's spamming battlecopters literally every turn. I know Sensei has great battlecopters, but you need to build other units in order to stop my anti-air. Does not attack my lander. Instead, he moves over here to I don't know what. So I'm building battlecopters, so he builds a carrier. Big anti-air unit. Very big range. I cannot attack this thing even if I wanted to. It's on a port, so it's good defense. This thing is going to be a little bit scary to deal with. And you guys will see that I have a hard time avoiding it. Builds more infantry. I'm surprised he uses money on infantry considering he has a lot of them now. But that's what he does. Moves infantry in. He knows that he has 50 something % firepower on these infantry, so I can't really engage, but little does he know, Andy's actually better than he thinks. Alright. My turn. Rolls in. Here we go. So, if you guys are using Andy, or you guys want to use Andy, here's a little tip. You don't always have to use your super at the beginning of a turn. Or do you have to use it at the end? It could be in the middle. So here we go. Lander drops off the 5 infantry. This guy was injured over here from this infantry that just regrouped. But I'm alive. I'm 5 HP. In order to capture properties in 2 turns, you need to be 10 HP. I'm going to use my super this turn. I'm going to be 10 HP and there's nothing to stop me. I engage his infantry. I take big damage from him. But I damaged him in return. Again, same thing. Took a lot of damage, but dealt damage to him in return. Capture here. Capture here. I attack his infantry. Again, I'm going to damage all his infantry here. And if you guys can see, they're all going to be full HP when my hyper upgrade comes in. Bam. These infantry cannot do anything. These infantry cannot capture anything. So again, now he's down to, again, 1 healthy infantry to capture properties. He might have tanks, and I only have 1, but he can't do anything over here. And these tanks over here, you know, they're full HP. They're not hurt. My battleship, back to full HP. Yeah, so very strong hyper upgrade. And if we look again, I go from 184,000, use my hyper upgrade, and repair all the way up to a solid 209,000. That is, what was that, like 25,000 funds. That's 25,000 funds of repairs that I just dealt to myself. and I might be lower in value now, but I have a huge capture lead, and I might be down on the unit count, but that's because of his infantry, not because of his vehicles. And so now this turn, I'm going to wreak some havoc on his army. Infantry again, just look at these guys. These guys are all hurt. He's not going to be able to do much here. Battlecopter, stay out of range of the carrier. Again, can't really get hurt. Battlecopter moves up. Battlecopter moves this way, just out of range of the carrier. So I don't have to worry about this thing, because while it does have big range, it has to get it into position to attack first. It cannot attack on the same turn it moves. So I move my infantry over here. Again, I'm going to pick off his infantry, stop his capture even. Because these tanks, they're worth 7,000, my infantry are only worth 1,000. Him wasting his time attacking these infantry that aren't really doing anything just benefits me, because it just prolongs his tank movements. I go and attack his tank over here. It's worth it for me to interrupt a little bit. He can only, if he wants to hit this tank, he has to first go attacking infantry, so this was worth it to me. And he's not going to kill it in one shot. So that means I can retreat it, and again, repair it after, what, maybe another 5-6 turns of hyper upgrade. But I go over here, destroying infantry, get this capture thanks to my hyper upgrade. I had enough HP to capture the city. Without my co-power, I did not. I go over, destroy this infantry with my 10, 20, and then 30% extra attack boost from my co-power. I one-shot this infantry on a shoal, even though it's 9 HP, and he has his power going. This allows my anti-air to come in and destroy his battlecopter. Yes, his medium tank is here. I'm not afraid of it, because I got to destroy a battlecopter that's worth 9,000 with an anti-air that's worth 8. Tank goes onto the city. Big tank engagement here. Rocket moves in, so now I protect my infantry here. Doesn't really help against this tank, but at least his infantry can't do anything to mine unless he wants to get hit. And then yeah, I just pick off more infantry. Battleship in retaliation hits his battleship. Bam! Instead of doing 5 damage to me and me doing like 2 or 3, I do 6, and he hasn't done anything to mine yet. Again, I don't know his submarine is here, but it doesn't matter. I neutralized this battleship. The only thing that could damage my vehicles on this side. So this was a big win for me. This might have played a big part in the opening of the game, but it hasn't really done much, and I've neutralized it really easily with my own battleship. I capture this property. I go again. I'm going to hurt these infantry. I want to make sure he does not capture anything on this side. This one, still 2 turns away. This one, now, 3 turns away from capturing. Anti-air comes over here. I can't attack this one. I can, rather, but I feel like I don't want to get surrounded. He can surround my anti-air if I do that. So I'm going to attack this one. Again, another infantry that's going to be neutralized, and he can't capture properties. Move another anti-air. So these copters can't do anything over here. He needs a tank. Cruiser moves over here. He has a copter here. He has a weakened battleship. I'm just trying to guard my battleship from the submarine that, somewhere over here. I don't know where it is. But there's another reason why I move it over here. Let's see, what did I do? I'm not sure what I just did, but I'm going to ignore it, whatever it is. Submarine. Seeing that I'm low on fuel now, I have 16 fuel on the sub. I'm going to try to get it to the port to refuel. I built another lander over here. Since my other lander went to the middle to capture these properties, I want to transport stuff over here, especially with this anti-air probably coming in to deter my battlecopters. I built a tank as well to get it over here. And I built an artillery. I built a second battleship over here. If his cruiser wants to do anything, like move around or do whatever, it can move wherever it wants. My battleships can now zone out his battleship, his cruiser, no problem, as well as destroy infantry. This way I can support down here. So want to see where his sub will attack. Build 1 more infantry and I'm out of money, so I end my turn. Base skipping, oh, who cares about base skipping when you have a very strong army. So if we look at our values after my super, I have what is that, an 8k 4 property advantage, as well as a 70,000 value lead. We have even numbers in units. Now he does have his power, and he is going to use it. So you guys should keep an eye on that unit count, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. Infantry comes off the city and attacks. So now all his cities are open. So now he goes up to 60 units and only has a 60k deficit. However, they're just infantry. I'm not really worried because they're infantry. However, I am a little worried that his infantry are going to start blocking my vehicles from attacking vital units. So if you guys like using Sensei, my suggestion is, even on a mixed base like this, build indirect units. As long as you have infantry surrounding your indirect units, your opponent can't use tanks or even like battlecopters if you have anti-airs, because they're not going to risk expensive units against infantry for nothing. So just a suggestion. So he captures the property in the middle again because I could not prevent him from doing so, but that infantry is stuck there. Battlecopter moves in, attacks my cruiser. Very heavy damage because he has his power going, and that's 65% extra firepower. Battleship finishes it off. Submarine comes in, so now because he killed my cruiser, I can't engage this sub. I have my sub over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that can attack this sub. However, I am low on fuel. He uses 6 fuel per turn when sub dived. This sub is unfortunately going to sink. But I do an interesting play next turn, so we'll see. He puts his cruiser here to block off my port. I'm pretty sure he's thinking, oh, he saw my sub here. He's probably going to go back and come to this side. So he's being smart, and this cruiser is going to be a little bit annoying. Medium tank comes in, destroys my entire. Starts to take engagements over here. Again, he does attack this tank, but he doesn't kill it, so I can just retreat and repair it to full later. Kills more infantry, but again, he can't capture my properties, and that's my biggest goal. If you guys take a look, this is day 12. 2 neutral comm towers. I have 2 comm towers. He doesn't have a comm tower yet, and that's hurting him. His firepower is not increasing on a big map like this with high funds, so very important that I stop those captures. All these properties he can't capture. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even this one, 5. Comm tower 6. He can't capture any of these properties because all his infantry are damaged, and he's not doing anything to protect them. Same thing with these infantry. They're not doing anything other than killing my infantry, but I have the property advantage already. Battlecopter moves straight down. I have no anti-air down here, so this is a big problem for me. Definitely need to build an anti-air next turn. Carrier moves a little closer to zone out even more of my battlecopter range. But as you guys can see, these 2 copters, I'm not really worried about this carrier. One of them, for sure, is just going to move away from it and go to the left. I have no airport on this side of on the upper left side of the map, by the way. From over here and here, I don't have anything in this area for air units. So me shifting over a copter will throw kind of a wrench in his moves, because he has to deal with it now. Moves infantry down, anti-air comes in. This is exactly what I was worried about, which is why I built this tank in the lander. I'm definitely going to need to transport a tank over there to protect against this anti-air. Artillery and infantry move this way. Again, he has to move his infantry this way across the river. I didn't. I only moved 1. I might not have the city yet, but I'm going to get it eventually, and there's nothing to stop me, whereas I'm stopping his captures. So, very big win there. Moves his artillery down here. Not really doing anything yet. Again, this artillery hasn't really done much. Only attacked the pipeline twice. Builds a tank. Tank attacks my infantry. He finishes it off. And he's in a position to guard this comm tower. So I'm not going to be able to prevent this comm tower any longer. As you guys can see, I captured the properties here. He should be the one capturing the properties on this side more. Even though my bases are, or my 1 base is closer, he has 2 that can easily go down this way. So for me to have held on this long, really big advantage. And the only reason why he has this advantage is because of the fact that he can deploy 3 infantry out of these cities with his co-power, and he did it twice already. That's 6 infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all those 6 infantry right there. So infantry engagements, again, these guys are injured. They don't really do that much. He has extra firepower, so he picks off my infantry with numbers. But again, they're not really going to do anything because they're damaged and they can't capture properties. Builds a battlecopter, non-stop battlecopters again, and he built a Neo tank. This was a big surprise to me. What am I supposed to do against that? I mean, I have a couple copters, but copters are only okay against Neos, they're not great. So this was a big build, but he uses a lot of money only on this side, and we'll see what it does for him. My turn rolls in. Again, I'm second player, so this is the end of day 12. My submarine really low on fuel. Move my tank into the lander, drop it off. Can't capture my city. Nothing can hurt this tank. So now, instead of having nothing to do with my battlecopters, he has this anti-air now. He has nothing to deal with my tank. So he's constantly forgetting that I have, you know, different types of units to deal with, and he doesn't have any counter to this tank. I move my battlecopter into minimum range of the carrier, so I cannot get shot. In order for him to not get hit, he either has to build a cruiser so I don't attack him, or he has to move away and protect me with the anti-air. We'll see what he does. So now that I've done my job, I've prevented his capture as long as possible. I've gotten these properties. I'm going to kind of move back with my infantry here. So I thought. I actually move forward and attack the infantry even more. I think I do this because his Neo tank isn't here yet. I think I will move back on the next turn because I have an artillery that's going to be coming in too. Battlecopter moves away. Just move away from the carrier. Then it's not a problem. This is 30,000 that has yet to shoot. 30,000 funds that has yet to shoot in 2 turns. So yeah, and it only attacks air units too. So as long as I'm in its minimum range, or if I just move away to the other side of the map, it's useless. Pick off some infantry, start capturing this in order for him to stop it. He either has to use his anti-air or this infantry. If he uses the infantry, it's a bad engagement. If he uses anti-air, my tank gets to his anti-air for free. Start capturing here, and look, I have 2 healthy infantry. I can start capturing this extra city as well. Still, nothing here to attack my tank. This tank it's on 28 fuel and has attacked like 5 infantry. It's interrupted 5 captures. This has been 5 captures. Even if they were all, like, if you just count the 1 turn that they would have been captured, that's 10,000 in itself. 10,000 funds I prevented him. But over the course of many days, that's like 20 or even 30,000 funds I've kept from him because of this 1 tank. Very useful. Anti-air moves in. Out of range of battleship, out of range of artillery. Nothing can attack this anti-air. I pick off more infantry. Need to protect my city, so he has to use these healthy infantry to engage. Anti-air destroying more infantry. This one can't capture, this one can't capture, this one can't capture. So again, all these properties still not captured, and almost all of mine are. Rocket, free shot, and infantry. Tank goes onto the city, so I have nice defense, and the only thing that could hurt me is this medium tank. But if he wants to attack me, my rocket is here, so he has to be careful. And then I go back into a defensive position so I don't lose my rocket. Build an anti-air because this battlecopter is here, so I need to build an anti-air to protect these units. Submarine, because it's going to be sinking this turn and I can't put it on the port without his cruiser finding me, I decide to just attack it. That gives me a little bit of co-power charge, and it successfully weakens his sub. With that 20% extra firepower, brings it down to a 4. That thing is practically useless because it has minus 10% from Sensei's day-to-days. Build infantry, move my battleship away, but in a position to guard the sub from the cruiser if he decides to attack it. He probably won't. But yeah, and then this battleship's still protecting my infantry as well. Build a cruiser, because I need to build cruisers against these battlecopters and the submarine. Again, the only thing I can attack is the battleship, but it's weakened, and I'll just repair up to full. Build another anti-air, because he's got nothing but battlecopters over here, so don't have to worry about it. I try to keep this battleship alive, moving away from the sub. He is in range still, but with only a 4 HP submarine with minus 10% attack, it's not going to do much to my battleship. So he won't kill it yet. Build Battlecopter, another artillery, because the best way to defend against a Neo, if you can't build a Neo of your own, is to build some indirect units. And I have a lot of weak infantry over here that can be shields, so it'll be hard for him to get to my artilleries on that side. Alright, so we're heading in on to day 13. So this this is what I really wanted him to see, if he's a quote-unquote pro player or, you know, a just okay player. Turns out he's just an okay player, because he does this. My sub is going to sink next turn. Guaranteed. It uses 1 fuel per turn every day, C units, and because I'm dived, I used an additional 5. That means I'm going to use 6 fuel. I'm going to have 0 fuel next turn. That means I sink. I'm automatically destroyed at the start of my turn. But what does he do? He uses his cruiser to go and kill it, giving me like a star and a half of co-power. Very, very, very big mistake. Not only that, my battleship is in range to attack his cruiser too. So that's another, you know, dead C unit that he can't afford to be losing. So I was very, very happy. To me, this was one of those things that kind of changed the game in my favor. There was a lot of moments, but this one changed it a lot, because it just gives me that much closer to my hyper upgrade. And my hyper upgrade is the reason why I'm going to be winning this game. So he finally gets his comm tower over in this corner. So now his units now have neutral firepower, no more -10. So that's not good for me, but I'm not too worried. Again, now that I've captured most of the properties are in my favor, I'm going to be playing this a bit more defensive. And again, his battleship attacks my cruiser, but it doesn't really accomplish anything. He attacks and destroys it. I'm going to kill his battlecopter next turn. So we'll see, you know. I mean, yeah, he accomplished that, but I get to destroy his cruiser. I get to destroy his battlecopter. So we'll see what he does in return. Submarine, because it's weakened, does not destroy my battleship. I'm going to get my hyper upgrade next turn. It's going to be a 7. It's going to be nice and healthy. A 7 battleship, 6 battleship, they're still going to pack a punch on ground or sea units. So he needs to be careful that he needs to kill these units. Now this is smart. He puts his black boat here. So now my anti can't get to his battlecopters. And then he put his battlecopter on my other port, so I can't build anything. So here we go. Earlier I blocked his ports, now he's blocking mine. But this isn't very good, and you guys are about to see why on my turn. So he's trying to capture the city as well. He's moving his infantry forward, keeps his medium tank out of range of my rocket, but my rocket can interrupt his capture and as well as attack other infantry. Regroups here. To me, he should have just kept it open, but whatever. Moving his infantry around, attacks here. Tank attacks the pipe, I believe. I think this is dead. Actually, it doesn't say. It says 18. I don't know if that's supposed to be its HP, but doesn't really do anything. Tries to capture this property again. Keeps capturing those properties. Moves his infantry forward. Tries to capture this. No point. It's not going to get it. He built another battleship. Again, lots about. He has this. You know, he has territory advantage here now. He has territory advantage here now. Not up here though. And unfortunately, the C units. If I build C units, they can only stay here. They're not going to be able to move around the ground. So I'm not worried that he has the advantage here, because it's not going to help him win this match. Tries to go for this comm tower. That is the #1 thing I definitely don't want him doing, is getting that extra firepower. So this is going to definitely be interrupted. He joins Cap a little bit here. He definitely wants to try and get the city to even up the income lead. Pops his power at near the end of his turn, getting, well, like 19 infantry. I don't know how many it was. A lot. He gets a lot of infantry. I mean, the unit count is ridiculous. He also has a value lead now, and he still can build 29,000 worth. He also gets an attack boost with his infantry, so he does kill my infantry here. Look at all these infantry in this bottom left corner. It's going to be hard for me to kill anything in that corner. But he only has 1 medium tank and a damaged tank, so I'm not too worried. All these infantry, again, can be... They're not guarded by any tanks yet, so not worried there. Anti-tire, he tries to protect it with his infantry. So my tank can't get to it. Tank destroys mine. Smart of him to destroy that before I can repair it. Neo tank's coming into play. His artillery is coming into play. So he's going to probably get this city soon. But not yet. Not yet. Builds a cruiser to protect this carrier from my battlecopter. So there's no way that I'm going to be attacking this thing. And especially if it's on a reef, it's going to get a little extra defense. So my turn rolls in. He also builds a tank right here. Okay. So at this point, I will admit, I was looking at the map and I'm kind of like, well, he definitely put a wrench in my plans. He captured the comm tower. He's starting to capture these properties, which is the thing I was trying to prevent the most. He's starting to gain ground on this side. However, I saw the income lead, and I have my super now. So let's see what I can do. Capture the properties here wherever I can. Again, I want to take engagement before I pop my super. I stopped this capture here too. Capture the city. And then I pop my super here. 207,000 to 228. So 21,000 repair. Biggest things I want to note is battleship. This 2 battleship goes to a 10 or a 7. 6 tank becomes a 10. This tank becomes a 10. This tank becomes a 10. These infantry become healthy so they can also take engagements. So let's watch again. So let's repair all my units up by 5 HP. Get 10% extra attack, so that's what, 30% extra because of the comm towers, and we get +1 movement. So let's go ahead and let's start beating him up. Infantry destroys infantry. Infantry, I forego the mountain because I need to use this guy over here to kill this guy, so my tank can go and hit the anti-air. If you guys take a look, this anti-air was the only thing preventing my infantry from doing anything, as well as my copters. It's gone now, and he has this tank over here, but without an anti-air, my battlecopters can technically attack. So this is weird. I don't know why I did this. I moved my battlecopter in range of his carrier. I actually don't know why I did this. I guess it's just to keep his infantry down. I honestly don't know. Battlecopter comes over here, kills tank. I move my tank back. There's nothing over here to kill my battlecopter, so it's going to have some fun over here. And I capture these properties. He's in no position to really capture them immediately, so I just start to play defense as this Neo tank comes into play. And then move my battlecopter, move the lander over. Infantry kills infantry. Big move right here. Anti-air with extra movement boost comes and kills the battlecopter here. Battleship attacks black boat. My battlecopter that came from here killed a couple infantry, moved over here, moves in, destroys black boat. Anti-air comes in, kills copter, and guess what I build? Oh, I don't build it yet. I'm going to build a unit to protect my battlecopter from his cruiser. Battleship 7 was a 2, now gets to attack his medium tank. This medium tank has been pretty much neutralized. Stop the capture. Infantry moves down. Nothing can kill my tanks. I even go and kill this tank just to make sure it doesn't recover. The only thing that could attack me is the medium tank, but it can't attack any of these units in this bottom left corner, except for this one, which I think he does, and he goes back to repair. That gives me so much time, so much more time to defend here. And again, this battleship this submarine only has 3 more shots and 27 fuel to try and kill this battleship, and it's not going to be able to do it. Again, prevent comm tower capture. He has to, there's no 10s here, so he has to regroup here in order to capture it. But he has no tanks. This tank is here, but he has to forego the capture, preventing him even longer. Again, interrupt another infantry. His copter is not in range, so just more properties he's not going to be able to get anytime soon. There it is. Now I build a battleship. Now his cruiser can't do anything. His battleship can't do anything, especially since I'm in range. So I have superiority out of nowhere because of this battlecopter. So very big move on my part here. I was very proud of this turn. Build a tank to just, because he has only this medium tank, so I can just rain havoc on his infantry here. I need more tanks on this side for sure. Build another tank here to send up this way, as I'm probably going to lose my tank very soon. Build another battlecopter and infantry. So yeah, we take a look at the end of my turn, I took a 50,000 value lead. I'm still down on the unit count, but he has like almost like 2.5 times my infantry count, which is the only reason why he's ahead. And I have a 4 property lead still, so, or a 3 or 4 property lead, as well as the comm towers. Okay, so his artillery attacks my infantry. Not really worried about that. Uses the 9 to capture. That's going to take 3 turns. Infantry moves forward, moves the tank back to recover. Carrier destroys copter. I really don't know why I did that. It was like the dumbest move I made this entire game. Finally gets this city. I'm about to get mine too, but this one he's been trying to capture for days. Long time. Infantry comes over, attacks me on the shore. Submarine, only 2 damage. If he does that 2 more times, he still doesn't kill me, and his submarine's going to die soon. Tries to capture my city. He's not going to get it. Me and tank attacks my tank. I have 30% extra defense here, as well as a 30% extra attack. I actually deal more damage to him than he wanted to deal to me here. I dealt 2 to him, and he dealt 3. And his medium tank's worth more than 2 times as much as my tank, so very good engagement for me. He continues to capture this. He wants to get this property, but I'm not going to let him. Or maybe I do. I don't remember. Moves his battleship down, and then he builds a submarine because I have multiple battleships. I have 3 here. No cruisers, no subs. So he definitely going to build subs to try and prevent my battleships from doing anything, but it's not really going to help. He needs tanks over here. He finally has 1, but I'm not going to care too much about taking superiority here. I'm just focused on defense and trying to, you know, reign supreme on all fronts here. Battleship moves back out of range of mine. Very smart. But I have these anti-airists who are going to prevent his battlecopters from doing anything. What did he just do? Oh, he captured up here. Just capturing properties. Joint caps these 2. So again, this is when I was a little bit worried because he's starting to get the properties, and as a 0 tier CO, if he evens up the playing field on all fronts, I'm in big trouble. But again, minimal vehicles, and his tank cannot hit my anti-air this turn because he's capturing the comm tower. Artillery moves in, battlecopter moves into a safe place, tank moves in, so now he's really starting to gain control on this upper left hand side. But again, he can't really do anything down here. He surrounds my tank, so it can't do anything. Yeah, he keeps just moving infantry. Builds another copter. Infantry attacks here. Infantry attacks and interrupts my infantry as much as possible, so I can't capture his properties. Cruiser moves down. I don't know what this cruiser is trying to accomplish at this point. It deterred my battlecopter away, but now it's not going to be able to do anything. So again, another unit, 18,000 worth, that isn't able to do anything. It needs to make at least its value up and kill 2 copters or a submarine, but I don't have any of those around here. This only killed 1 copter, which is worth, you know, 1/3 of its value. So this right here, big factor of why he's not able to control a lot of this game. Builds a submarine. That's kind of a surprise. Guess he wants to kill my landers and prevent me from bringing vehicles over here, probably. Infantry move in. Playing defensive with his Neo tank, even though I don't really have anything to attack here. Starts capturing the city. And yeah, I don't know why he keeps building infantry. He has so many infantry. He does not need to build these infantry. And he built 1, 2, 3, and 4 this turn. He should be saving this money and building an extra tank, building an extra artillery or anti-air. But he keeps building infantry over and over. Day 14 rolls in for me. Capture 2 more properties, just increasing my income lead. So I put this infantry into the lander, and I'm going to start transporting them over here. Move my artilleries forward a little bit closer so I can get into a position to defend a little bit better here. Battlecopter interrupts city. Nothing can kill my battlecopter, so he can't capture my city quite yet. Move a tank and infantry into the lander. Battlecopter moves this way, out of range of the carrier once more. This one's also out of range of the carrier, and only this anti-air is here. I go ahead and kill it. If his tank wants to attack mine, I can just repair it later on. Move the tank and infantry here, so now I outnumber him 2 tanks to 1 here, as well as my battlecopters are also around to harass him if I need to. Infantry moves back. Keep damaged units in the back to repair later. One shot a couple units here. Prevent the cap. Oh, I free my tank. Battleship attacks infantry. And I interrupt this capture once again. This turn, I'm not worried about this city because he's not going to capture it quite yet. So just another turn, preventing captures really easily because he has a whole bunch of damaged infantry and he can't attack my vehicles. Anti moves up, out of range of the artillery. This thing's in range of the tank no matter what I did, so I decided just to kill something. And I wanted to attack his tank while I could. As long as that tank is dead, my 1, 2, and 3 anti-airs have nothing to worry about. There's no other tanks in this area. As long as I stay out of range of the artillery, my anti-air won't die, and all he has is copters and infantry. Copter moves up, cruiser can't get to it. He could use his battlecopters, but that means dead battlecopters because of my anti-air. I'm not afraid of his battleship because my anti-airs can just be repaired. I move everything in range. Look, I have a battleship, a tank, 2 anti-air, 2 infantry in range of this battleship. I'm not afraid of him. I move my battleships into range of his battleships. That's how confident I am. If he attacks my battleships, I get co-power charge. If he leaves his battleships, they're dead. I build a cruiser to counter the sub, so if he wants to attack my battleship, it's a dead sub. Move this infantry back because I want to capture his properties and then cover the city so he can't build any infantry on that city with his power. Build another anti-air because what is he going to do over in this corner? I build 2 anti-air and another battlecopter, another artillery. If you spam artilleries 3, 4, 5, 1 Neo isn't going to do anything to them. I build 2 double anti-air, double artillery. He can't do anything with only single tanks. 1 tank. 1 tank. In all 3 of the fronts, he only has 1 tank. Oh, over here, 1 tank. So he has nothing backing up his tanks. And so if I outnumber them with units that can destroy them, he's going to lose. Day 15 rolls in. Starts capture here. Sub still trying to kill this battleship. Only has 1 shot left. He can't make it back to a port, so it's going to sink. Finally captures this city. Finally captures this comm tower. Not good for me, but if we take a look, I have a big lead. I have a big capture lead. I have the value lead right now. Unit lead is only because of how many infantry. He has double my infantry, more than that. So I'm not really afraid of his unit count. Of course he's going to destroy the tank. He joined caps. He wants to get these properties as soon as possible. Medium tank goes off the city and attacks my anti-air. I'm not afraid. It's just going to repair up with my power. Submarine moves into the middle. I don't know what it's trying to accomplish. It's not going to do anything if it kills this lander, and there's nothing else over here. Pops his copter command again, getting him like 15 infantry. But again, what's infantry going to do for him? Infantry are not going to help him in this match. Captures this city one more time. Not done yet though. Infantry clear that city. Tank comes in, attacks from the city. Very good engagement for him. Builds a battleship. This is what he needed. Now I can't attack his ground troops without being shot at. So he's starting to gain ground here, that's for sure. But again, he's in no position to capture my properties anytime soon. And as long as that's the fact, then I have the advantage. Continues to take engagements. Moves his infantry around the city to try and... He definitely wants to try and capture it. Protect this one as well. Neo tank doesn't really do anything. It's another 22,000 unit that has not really attacked anything. Tank attacks anti-air, doesn't really matter to me. He even uses his battlecopters to kill it. That's really cute. Battleship kills 1 anti-air. It's fine by me. That's totally fine by me. Because now I get to kill... His battleship just killed a unit worth 8,000. My battleships are going to kill a unit worth 28,000. I think it's a fair exchange. Submarine. So, if you guys know Advanced Force by Web, you guys can see where a sub moves and dives. I see this. I know where the sub is. So I can, plan around it. Builds a battlecopter. He's still join capping to try and get this property, but I'm not going to let him get this property. Moves his infantry around. Battleship retreats back to repair. Builds another medium tank, because what is he going to do down here? Other than build medium tanks to deal with it. Cruiser moves back out of range of the battleship. He needs to protect from my battlecopter too. What did he just do? Cruiser moves up. I don't know what he's doing with this. Again, these two units aren't doing anything. It takes one last engagement. My turn rolls in. I'm down by 60,000 down in units, but I still have the income lead solidly. He has his comm towers now, which is good for him. So I don't know where his sub is. I go and pick up this lander. I'm not afraid of his sub. Infantry moves across the river. I again want to try and damage the infantry. I take a shot at his Neo tank. Bad engagement for me, but as long as his Neo tank isn't at full HP, it's going to have a harder time one-shotting my units. And my artillery just have a little bit of fun too, shooting on random stuff. Tank moves in. I'm not afraid of his battleship. If he wants to shoot me, go ahead. I'm just trying to I'm trying to get as many engagements as I can, probably for my super. Battleship attacks his battleship. Battleship destroys his battleship. Look at this. Battlecopter moves next to his sub. I find it. Well, we're not done yet. Rocket attacks infantry. Tank attacks medium tank. I take damage. That's okay. Tank moves in. Attacks infantry. I was hoping I could kill it there, but I didn't. Hyper upgrade comes in. Hyper upgrade comes in near the middle of my turn. The middle of my turn. First move. Cruiser. Extra movement boost. One-shots the sub. I have superiority in the water over here, and there's nothing you can do about it. Tank moves in with extra movement boost. Practically destroys the artillery. Kill infantry. Anti-air moves in. Finishes off the tank, so he definitely doesn't have anything. No tanks. Nothing over here. My anti-air, including this one now, are going to be able to attack all these infantry and all these copters for free. Nothing can destroy them. Rocket prevents capture here. Infantry comes in. Boom. So he can capture this one. That's okay. It's a neutral city. It doesn't matter to me. Medium tank can't do anything by itself. He's using his co-power too, so all these units he just lost, he gets no power charge from it. Infantry, attacks infantry, destroy tank. So again, no vehicles, no anti-air, nothing down here. Copter attacks cruiser with extra movement boost. Minimum range of the carrier, so he can't kill me. Lander, super safe. Move my artilleries up so his Neo tank can't really do any engaging here. And yeah, this is pretty much GG for him. I build a carrier of my own. He wants to build battlecopters like crazy. That's the only thing he wants to try and use to win. I'm just going to build a carrier of my own that can one-shot his battlecopters. So he can't really do much. Build another tank. More infantry, another artillery, a sub to deal with his battleship and carrier now that his cruiser is practically dead. It is now his turn. He tries to take an engagement here. I guess that's good for him. Destroys my copter. That's a dead cruiser next turn. Battleship attacks tank. Doesn't kill it. Infantry attacks here. Doesn't kill my infantry until all three attack it. Finally captures this city as well. Starts to capture this one. So he's starting to get captures now because of how many infantry he has. But it's taking him forever to capture. Kills my infantry. Deletes this unit because it's useless. That's actually kind of funny because he's just going to deploy another one. Infantry moves over here. Copter command comes in again. I think this is like the 4th copter command. Gets another 15 or so infantry. Value does not even come close to passing mine. Infantry attacks here. Sub kills my lander because I didn't see it coming, but that's okay. I thought it was going to be over here. Tanks are alive still. They're not dead yet. Medium tank can't do anything, has to retreat. His infantry can't do anything. They're just sitting ducks, and he resigns. This match went on for 16 days, and I finally won. This was a very fun and stressful match, I will admit. The beginning, stressful. That first battleship he built, I didn't know how to counter it. I can't get enough money to counter that battleship early. However, as you guys can see, and I pretty much stressed the entire match, all his ground vehicles were by themselves. One tank, one anti-air, one whatever, you know, they were all by themselves in every single corner of the map. So he didn't really. He had a lot of good builds, and he outnumbered me for sure the entire match in numbers. But he didn't have the units to back up his good units, his tanks, or his copters. So I won this match through pure strategy, not so much as like numbers or power. Sensei is by far the better CO, of course, but my opponent didn't take into account that he needs to back up his units. One tank, even with an army of infantry, isn't going to stop me from destroying his tank, and then his infantry have nothing they can do. I had the capture lead the entire game, and I kept him from capturing his comm towers like all the way up to like day 12 or something. He just captured this comm tower like day 15. So that alone, huge firepower bonus for me. No bonuses for him. So that really came into play. And of course, utilizing Andy's hyper upgrade to the best I can, and that's why he's my favorite CO. Even when I seem like I'm losing all my army, I can repair them back up as long as they're not dead. And if you guys take a look, this battleship is still alive. This was the first battleship I built in this game, and it's still here. It is still alive and kicking. If it's not the first, it's definitely the second. And it has not died, and it is shot so many times over. Very strong battleship this one was. Hit medium tanks, hit cruisers, infantry. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this Advanced Wars replay. This was one of my most fun matches I've probably played in a while, because of the fact that it does incorporate naval, air, and ground units on this big map. It was stressful because it is against Sensei, and all these infantry is a little bit intimidating, but I definitely had the unit, I don't know what to say, unit type advantage. And yeah, so leave a comment down below what you guys thought of the match. My opponent was a pretty good matchup. He was very strong. I actually forgot to get his global league rating. I think he was rated a little bit higher than me. Most of the time I am rated lower than my opponents, but I think we're about even anyways. But this was high funds, so different tier than standard or fog. I don't really like fog. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought below. Invite me to a game if you guys want to play on Advanced Wars by Web. My name is right here, it's Punchi. Yeah, like the video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, if you guys want to see more replays like this or other gaming content, especially Advanced Wars. I like to play Advanced Wars a lot. Check out my campaign and War Room series if you guys haven't already, and share with your friends, and so I can grow the channel and create even more content for you guys to enjoy. I guess that's all I got for you guys today. I guess I'll see you guys next time. All right, enjoy. Bye bye.